because I'm working on the B2B angle, because you said your customer. So Facebook is performing well for you B2B.
It's performing very well. So for us, we get real mojo from Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So on Facebook, you've got your own personal page. You want a Facebook fan page. There are different types of pages. Facebook's actually really confusing. But you want for your company a Facebook fan page. And every time you write some new content, push it out to that Facebook fan page. You want to encourage people to join your Facebook group and create a community within Facebook. All your potential customers are there, whether you like it or not. So help them engage with you. And the way I kind of think about it, if I'm a sales guy back in PTC in 1995, 1999, I'm like a lion hunting through the jungle looking for customers. And all the customers, let's say they're elephants, they're in the jungle. And I used to once in a while find one in the jungle. They've all left the jungle, and they're all hanging out in the savannah. And there's different watering holes they're hanging out at. One's Twitter, one's Facebook, one's LinkedIn, one's Google, one's the blogosphere. So you need to set up camp and eat the elephants at the new watering holes. So you need, whether you like it or not, whether you haven't used these or not, over the next year, you've got to figure this out. Because all your customers are here whether you like it or not. One sec, on the B2B thing, so LinkedIn in particular has been very valuable to HubSpot. So you've all got LinkedIn personal profiles. So many of you probably are in LinkedIn groups. Who's in a LinkedIn group? Okay. The cool thing about those LinkedIn groups, and not a lot of people don't take advantage of this, is you get that little badge on there. So you're in the, I don't know if the Franklin Club has a badge. You get the Franklin Club badge on there. If you create your own group, you can email to that group once a week. So for example, at HubSpot, we have the inbound marketing group. And we have, I don't know, 20,000 people subscribe to that group. And once a week, we can send them an email with all our blog articles, with our webinar, with a call to action on our trial. So as a B2B marketer, this is a very sort of secret thing, but it's extremely valuable. When you create your group, you don't want to create it with the name of your company. No one really wants to help your company sell. You don't want to pimp too hard on the internet. What you want to do is call it something that people want to join. So, for example, you might want to set up the group if you're that online backup company, pro online backup people, something like that. Something where people want that badge on their own personal site. So LinkedIn's very good for business. All these sites are age agnostic. When I first started HubSpot, this was really 20-somethings. Now my mother's on Facebook. The average age of a LinkedIn user is 41. The average age of the Twitter user, nobody knows, but I suspect it's in the 30s. But this is spreading throughout all different ages. And for a lot of people, you're selling to IT people. IT people live on this stuff. They live in Google. They live in blogs. They never answer their phone. So this is particularly useful for people selling into IT. So creating lots of content, optimizing it for Google, spreading it in the social media sphere, and using each piece of content to pull people in and expand your network. Those pieces of content, they're like little mini magnets pulling people into your funnel. Okay, once you pull people into your funnel, a mistake 99% of businesses make is you land on someone's homepage and there's no, I call it a call to action that grabs you. And so for example, at HubSpot, our call to action is either download our free white paper or do an inbound marketing assessment or start our free trial. We rotate these and see what the conversions are like. You need to give people something to get something. So Chris Anderson just wrote this new book. He's the guy who came up with the long tail for a new book called The New Economics of Free. On the internet, you kind of got to give something to get something. So you kind of have to give something valuable away. You want a 15-minute consulting session with one of our experts. Right on your homepage, above the fold, something really valuable. You actually have to give stuff away to get stuff on the internet. So make sure when you get back to your office, you got something valuable to give away. And then the last piece is you want to analyze what's going on. Back to your question. So this is how we do it at HubSpot. This is our traffic over the last year, bouncing up and down. And then we look per channel at what's going on. And then here's where it gets interesting. We can look at organic search for the last year. HubSpot got 156,000 visitors, 6,000 leads, and we picked up 106 customers through organic search. And then we can compare that to links into our site, to paid search, to email marketing, to social media. And then you can click down on the social media and look at Twitter versus Facebook versus LinkedIn. So I can't click on down on this, but we got 211 visitors and 239 customers through social media. I can break that down into look at Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn and look at them side by side. So as an inbound marketer, you should be experimenting like crazy and see what works and what doesn't, double down on what works, pull away from what doesn't. So that's kind of how you do it. Create lots of content, optimize that content, promote it like crazy in the social media sphere, turn your visitors into leads, and then analyze what's going on, double down on what works, and pull away from what doesn't. Let's talk about how to build sort of an entrepreneurial marketing team. What's that modern marketing team looks like? Because a marketing team of today looks completely different than a marketing team of 5 years ago. And for those of you in marketing, that may be good news or bad. So I came up with an acronym to sort of describe what does that perfect modern inbound marketer look like and smell like, what's their background like. And it looks very different from the perfect marketer that I worked at with PTC 10 years ago, let's say. So a great inbound marketer today, great modern marketer, is what I call sort of a digital citizen or a digital native. Someone who grew up with high-speed internet access, who really loves this stuff. So for me, I'm 42, but for some reason I really like the internet. And I always want to check out new stuff. I have like some gene in me somehow that's internet related. When it comes to fixing my sink or fixing the closet or doing anything with my car, I'm missing any genetic makeup for any of that stuff. And I have a neighbor that's very good at it. And I think that's the same for everybody. Like, you're into stuff or you're not. So if you're into the internet, get into it, dive into it, it's really good. If your marketing person's into the internet, really get them into it. If it turns out you've got a real internet geek over in support, move them into marketing. Find a co-founder who's sort of a digital native who's geeked out in this stuff. But if you don't have the DNA, it's kind of hard to force it. So your perfect modern marketer sort of lives and breathes this stuff, is into Delicious, is into Twitter, into LinkedIn, they get Google. The second piece is the perfect modern marketer should be super analytical. Marketing used to be sort of very arts and craftsy. And today it's all about the numbers. There's millions of numbers flying around, even for very small companies and small websites. So you want to be very analytical. So one of the questions I ask marketing candidates coming into my company is they say, well, bring your favorite spreadsheet with pivot tables and show me some counterintuitive insight you've come up with in some graph that's really interesting that proves some point around marketing. That's kind of what you want to be doing, is using lots of data to come up with counterintuitive insights, using data to experiment to make your business work. It's what Google does, it's what Amazon does, it's what these modern West Coast companies who are kicking our ass back here in the East Coast are doing so effectively. Third thing you want to hire for is really reach. And so I'll give you an example of that. HubSpot's third hire was a guy named Dan Zarella, and Dan's got a blog called Digital Scientist or something like that, or it's called Social Media Scientist or something like that. And he's got 20,000 followers on his personal blog. He has another 20,000 Twitter followers. He's got a big LinkedIn group. When we hired him, we sort of inherited his entire reach. That's very interesting to us. So let's say you're in that digital online backup space. Try to hire a blogger or a very active Twitter user who can't quite monetize his blog. Plop him into your company. He can start blogging about IT and online backup inside your company. And then he brings all those followers with him on Twitter, brings all those followers with him on LinkedIn, and his blog followers. It really extends your funnel, extends your reach in a dramatic way. And then the last piece is you need to hire content creators. So our first marketing hire at HubSpot was a guy named Rick Burns, and he's a former writer at the New York Times. So he's just a writer. Genetic makeup is a writer. He was, a journalism major in college, and he cranks all our blog content, and he organizes all our blog content. So think about trying to hire a writer. Think about hiring content creators, not traditional marketing people. Don't hire people who sort of grew up through the PR ranks. Don't hire people who grew up through the email marketing ranks. Hire people like this. They look different, they smell different. And don't let people snow you. When you do your interview with a marketing person, do it in front of a computer. Have them show you their RSS feed. Have them show you their blog, who they follow in the blogosphere. Have them show you how many Twitter followers they have. You should be doing it with an interview. It shouldn't be with a resume across the table. It should be very interactive. That make sense? Everybody with me? Okay. Am I boring anybody? Not yet? How about back there? No? Okay. Okay. Another thing, so I went to watch the Celtics last night lose to the damn LA Lakers. When it comes to marketing, and I think when it comes to startups, I now have gray hair. I'm very excited about my gray hair, and I now have experience. I can honestly say experience, I think, is very overrated now that I've got some. It's the young people in my company who teach me everything. They're much more analytical. They get the internet. They get marketing by nature, and they're much more facile with all these tools. So, when it comes to marketing, go for LeBron over Paul Pierce any day. Wisdom is dramatically overrated in the marketing world. Marketing is completely changing. Think about, horse and buggy to car. You want people in the car industry.